Hello, welcome to the Ricky Walter Show. My name is Ricky Walter and I am your host. My goal has always been to educate and build awareness in the community and ultimately be an advocate for social change. Now, in my professional career, I have achieved that first by establishing the nonprofit organization Lifeline Children and Family Services, where we work every day with abused and neglected children and their families affected by trauma, domestic violence, drug and alcohol addiction, and incarceration. Our motto is, touching a life can change a destiny. Over the recent years, I have had the unique privilege of working with inmates as a volunteer through the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, and I am passionate about reforming our states and federal prison systems to promote better outcomes for families affected by incarceration. Today I would like to share with you stories of two individuals whose lives, families, and matter of fact, every aspect of their lives were shaken to the core due to being convicted of crimes that they did not commit. And I encourage you to reserve your judgment until you hear their stories in detail. You know, studies have shown those who have been wrongly convicted often serve 14 and a half years in prison on average. Ergo, the story of Dr. Michael Strong. Dr. Strong is a United States veteran and was a dedicated student from a good home with supportive parents. Michael was arrested at the age of 20. His bright future was extinguished by one act to which Michael contends he was wrongly accused and convicted. In 1985, he was convicted of first-degree murder and was sentenced to life behind bars. Dr. Strong, as he puts it, could have taken those letters L-I-F-E and used it as an excuse. Instead, he turned his anguish into a quest for learning and development. And Michael ultimately spent 25 years in prison before eventually being paroled. And I want you to hear his story. Hopefully it will inspire you. Take a look. I'm wonderful, man. I'm so thankful that you made time to join me on this segment today. I would like to first start out by just asking you, who is Dr. Michael Strong?
I did 25 years, and 14 years of those were spent in school. I've been out 7 years now. God has blessed me in so many ways. You know, they say a lot of times that, you know, people are where they come from. I come from a two-parent home. You know, my father and mother were, you know, God-fearing people working. You know, I was an athlete. You know, church was mandatory. And I know I don't have to think about some things. My moral and value system comes from, you know, how my parents brought me up, even though, you know, I was kind of like the black sheep of the family.
When were you brought up on charges? And tell us a little bit about how all that evolved, if you don't mind.
I'll never forget September 27, 1983. I was brought up on charges. I was involved with my little girl's mother, my oldest child's mother, and she was involved with an individual.
So, about 20 years old?
I was 20 years, exactly. Wow. Okay. He had committed a robbery, and he had a partner. At that particular time, she was acting like he was her cousin, but he was really her boyfriend. So while I was gone, you know, I'm green to a lot of things, you know. He used one of my weapons, which was one of my, you know, like I'm ex-special forces, like I was telling you guys. That particular weapon was the one I kept in my nightstand. Where he came, he used that particular weapon in a robbery to kill a pizza man. And when they came back, he got arrested, but he sent them to me.
Wow.
Because I was never the person of interest, but I'm the one that they end up coming to. But when they come to me, they kicking in doors and everything. Well, a lot of things transpired that night. Next thing I know, I'm end up, my original charge was capital murder, you know.
So you got convicted.
I got convicted, and mind you, they
Through
never.
What you say?
I was trial by judge.
But you pleaded no contest.
No contest. What basically they said, well, you can't plead. If you plead not guilty, we're taking it to trial. If you plead guilty, then you know. I said, well, I'm not going to plead guilty to something I didn't do. And you know what? My dad spent all that money back then, $70,000, man.
Wow.
And I went to court 3 times. 3 times. You know.
Did you have
I just had someone who was taking my father's money, basically.
Okay, but so you did have
that
was not a court-appointed attorney.
Oh no,
Just
no.
an attorney.
He ain't spend $70,000 on a court-appointed attorney.
No, you don't.
You know, and he you know, I remember him just like yesterday, and he told and my mother and them, they said, you know, to beg him, baby, we're gonna be here with you. And his thing, well, you're gonna do 20 years, you'll get out, you know, you'll be, you know, you'll be. You know, 40 years old, and you'll be good, you know. And I was like,
God, I
you know, and, you know, your dad will still be young. Well, okay, my dad died while I was in there, you know, and that was
They don't let you go to funerals?
no,
or nothing, do
that was the most detrimental thing that I've ever had to deal with in my life. You could have stuck a knife in my middle of my head. It wouldn't even faze me no more than losing my dad. But he was with me, you know, till his last day. I said one thing to myself. I said, when I was incarcerated, I said, either I'm going to do this time. I said, or the time going to do me. Me being ex-special forces in the military, I'm kind of, you know, you can't just come at me no any type of way. So, you know, I was like, this is really Cub Scouts in here. So I said to myself, I'm going to do this, you know. I went to school, like I said, for 14 years in there. Got 2 doctoral degrees, a master's degree, a bachelor's, and an associate. Those tools that I took, I said, I'm going to go, and I'm not going to be bitter about this situation, but I'm going to be better about the situation. And I took all those tools, and that's the man that I built this mini empire out here that I'm trying to build, you know, and it's still building.
I thank you for sharing your story with us today. I look forward to another visit with you. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate you. Did you know that the United States make up about 5% of the world's population as a whole, and yet 25% of the world's prison population is located here in the United States? We're talking about roughly 2.3 million people serving time in prison, with an additional 4.7 million people estimated to be under some type of community supervision through probation or parole. And, you know, it takes about $74 billion annually to house, feed, and provide services to inmates. Shockingly, 1% of those individuals, which translates into about 20,000 people, are being punished for crimes they did not commit.